When I tell you these motherfuckers don't give two fucks about any of us, I know their DNA. In Bitcoin, we may have 2-3 million people. We all made the smart decision to buy money you can't fuck with. When the shit hits the fan, and that shit hitting the fan is coming soon, we all are gonna have to fight these fuckers in Palantir once we get rid of the bankers. I had 7 3-letter agencies after me because they were worried that I was going to release some of the information that I'm telling you right now. The program that Epstein and Rockefeller want to do. Everybody thinks it was about pedophilia, but I have news for you. That's not the whole part of the story. You may not be the person, Peter, that picks up the pitchfork and fucking shoots the gun at the Labor Party, but I got news for you. It may be your kids.
One company I like pointing people to when they ask about Bitcoin mining is Abundant Mines. They were founded by Bo and Christine Turner after losing over $500,000 to broken promises in the mining industry. And they built their hosting model to remove the usual headaches. With Abundant Mines, you own your machines and keep 100% of the Bitcoin you mine. There's no revenue share, no hidden skims. Pricing is simple. One flat monthly fee covers power, parts, labor, and repairs. They also guarantee uptime. If a machine goes down, their hash rate redirect system routes hash power from their fleet so earnings don't just stop, and every machine is insured at full replacement value. Everything is hosted in the US, powered by Hydro, and mining equipment may qualify for 100% year one bonus depreciation. Learn more at abundantmines.com/sessions. Let me break this down for my fellow Bitcoiners. In just 8 weeks, I've seen a serious shift. More strength, more energy, and fast muscle gains. The reason? FITSCRIPT. They ran 124 biomarkers, blood, hormones, inflammation, and built a fully custom plan, nutrition, training, supplements. No guesswork, no templates. This is functional medicine meets precision fitness for high-performing men who want sovereignty over their health. If you care about optimization the way you care about your money, test, don't guess. Don't trust, verify. Hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to check out FITSCRIPT and see what's possible.
Joining me today are the podcast powerhouse Peter McCormick and the decentralized neurosurgeon Dr. Jack Kruse. In this episode, we discuss a centuries-old Fabian plot to reclaim absolute control, expose the UK's dire situation, and uncover Epstein's hidden obsession with the human genome. Plus, in a surprise twist, Peter reveals some of his ongoing struggles, and Dr. Kruse has just the prescription.
Turns out, when I was a resident, I found a whole bunch of boxes from MK Ultra that weren't destroyed from Richard Helms. Richard Helms was the CIA director who was told to destroy all MK Ultra files. The only reason that you guys know about this program today is because 20,000 documents weren't destroyed because they were misfiled in the United States government as financials. That's the only way you even found out about this. But Uncle Jack hit the mother lode when he was a resident who was told to go study this orthopedic surgeon named Robert O. Becker's work on bone by my boss. And in there I found out this story of MK Ultra, JFK's assassination, and this story of Monsanto and melanin and chromosome 2 were all in these boxes. This occurred in 1989 to 1991. So what did I realize was going to happen when I got on the stage in Nashville? I knew that they wouldn't be happy if I told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So what did I do? I spoke specifically about leptin and didn't talk about melanin. So what do you two need to know? The next week, I had 7 3-letter agencies after me, state medical board, NASA scientists, and also DARPA scientists in my office in Nashville, Tennessee. In fact, it led to the point where I was even harassed when I was given a talk to 3,700 people on a cruise ship where they put a fake tweet out to get me pulled off the boat. Okay? And this was done by people tied because they were worried that I was going to release some of the information that I'm telling you right now. So what was the goal of Rockefeller Medicine, the current Fabians? They looked at the leptin data from Amgen and they realized that if we can get the target of the distal part, what's the other gene that's on chromosome 2 that I haven't told you about. It's called the glucagon gene. I don't expect you to know this, but you'll know this part. Do you guys know what the glucagon gene controls? GLP-1 and GLP-2. You know what those drugs are? Ozempic.
Yep.
Got it? So I think both of you know the impact of that. So what was at risk when I got on the stage? Trillions of dollars of GLP-1 drugs. Got it? Because I knew the connection to chromosome number 2. And it turns out there's a third, or I should say a fourth issue that's located on chromosome 2 that Jeffrey Epstein found that goes to the story that you guys have been hearing about called adrenochrome, okay? And blood. This is a regulatory piece that tells us how to control fetal hemoglobin versus adult hemoglobin. Why is that important? Because this ties into Becker's research. Becker found when bone was broken that how it worked, melanin and water in a cell made a current that was 1/trillionth of 1 ampere, and that type of electricity, which is almost unfathomable, takes a red blood cell, adult, and makes it de-differentiate, go back in time. And you guys may not know this, but a red blood cell in us has no nucleus.
Yep.
But when it goes back in time, it gets a nucleus, and fetal hemoglobin has a nucleus. And what do you need to know about fetal hemoglobin? That it absorbs oxygen much better than adult hemoglobin. And it turns out this is the reason why Jeffrey Epstein started to collect children. Everybody thinks it was about pedophilia, but I have news for you. That's not the whole part of the story. They found out that you could actually make melanin very easily from adrenochrome. And what was happening before the shit hit the fan, the reason why Epstein started to talk to some of the people in New Mexico was that's what the Zorro Ranch was about the genetic engineering of chromosome 2 to figure out how to optimize melanin biology for himself and for the Rockefeller clan. What did the Rockefeller people do? They weaponized the GLP-1 gene into Ozempic. So what does that do effectively? It ruins the signal in your eye that sends a 220 nanometer light to the leptin receptor, so that effectively, like Sharon Osbourne and her daughter are kind of like a blue straggler star that are getting ready to explode. And when you understand that this fits the modus operandi of blue light, which was the original MK Ultra story, then it also fits the glyphosate story, which is the competitor inhibitor of melanin. Now you have the glucagon gene. They've hit all three. The adrenochrome is the other part of this. So that's where the story is. So, sorry this was a long discussion, but why do I have a problem with Peter? Peter's a Bitcoiner. He had a big fucking podcast. He went out and told everybody he took a fucking jab, okay, to travel, which is about the stupidest fucking thing anybody could do, okay? But here's the problem. This facilitates the program that Epstein and Rockefeller want to do. Why? Because this is the key. What does melanin do? Here's the real punch in the mouth. Melanin not only absorbs all frequencies of electromagnetic radiation, but here's the key for evolution. It absorbs metals. It's a metal chelator. And it turns out to control specific metals on the mitochondrial matrix. I'll tell you what those are. Iron, copper, molybdenum, manganese, deuterium, zinc, and calcium. Those are the big ones. That's what the Human Genome Project was teaching Rockefeller and Epstein. So where did Gates, Epstein, and them fit in? What's the best way to give a kid who doesn't have a lot of melanin extra atoms that to overwhelm the melanin system? Vaccines. What's another way? Fake food. Supplements. Drugs. So what did they do over this period of 50 years? They overloaded the system with those things. What do you design it to? What is the other thing the glucagon gene does? It controls eccrine and exocrine glands in your body. Just so you guys know, this is where the monkey hair went away. We have sweat glands fucking everywhere. Monkeys don't have it. That is also on chromosome 2. What's the second big thing? What's an exocrine gland? Most of you know you have bile. You have, snot that comes out of goblet cells in your gut. What are they all designed to do? To get rid of these metals. Okay? What happens when you take a GLP-1 drug? Let me explain it to you. When Peter went out and bought that really nice car he talked about on Bitcoin Twitter a long time ago, and he bought one for his dad, this would be like Peter going to the guy in London and say, cut my dad's tailpipe off and solder it closed. How fucking long is that engine in that car going to last? That's Sharon Osbourne. That's her daughter. That's what the GLP-1 drugs do. So when I tell you these motherfuckers don't give two fucks about any of us, trust me when I tell you, I know their DNA. I know their story. I know how they roll. So Nathan, maybe now you can understand when Peter goes out and tells our tribe, hey, I did this. I don't want that as the broadcast that Bitcoiners know. Why? Because we all made the smart decision to buy money you can't fuck with. And that is the true outcard to the banking empire, and probably even going to be the outcard for the Palantir system that's being fought over. But what the thing that we can't do, the reason I went to Prague stage for 2 years in a row and specifically called McCormick out, it's very simply. I didn't use Peter as the analogy because he's not dead yet, okay? But I used Hal Finney, I used Steve Jobs, and I used Paul Allen. 3 guys who are billionaires that all died. What good is your fucking money if you're dead? So why is this a story that I think will resonate with Bitcoiners? Why I think it may have resonated with Nathan. Bitcoin and nature are both decentralized networks. Let me tell you exactly what that means. It means they're costly in time and not in energy. And nobody in fucking Bitcoin seems to understand that. My tribe understands it on the biology side. Why? Because if you don't have time, what good's your money? But that's the reason why, if you look at the Satoshi white paper, what did Len Sassaman really do? He took Adam Back's idea of proof of work, which is great, but it's no fucking big deal. Everybody wants to jerk him off, and now we know he's a real jerk off. Well, here's the key. Sassaman puts 3 bibliographies on there for timestamping. That is actually what makes Bitcoin special, because it's costly in time. And it turns out when you have 10-minute blocks, that gives you an immutable ledger. That's exactly what we want. So when Peter takes a jab, what does it say to Uncle Jack as the decentralized neurosurgeon? He just fucking put a shit block into his human blockchain. And I don't want that idea going out to anybody in his audience and anybody in our tribe. Why? Because we're some of the smartest people on the planet, because we fucking bought Bitcoin early. And the thing is, as I told Marty Bent 6 months ago, we all are going to have to fight these fuckers in Palantir once we get rid of the bankers. So guess what? It's important that we keep people who own Bitcoin understanding that time is the most valuable asset, not fucking Bitcoin.
That's well, that we agree on. That we agree. That bit we agree on. I talk about that with my son quite a bit, in that there's 2 really important scarce items in the world. One is Bitcoin and one is time. But the interesting thing about time is as you get older and it becomes scarcer, it becomes more important to you. But you don't actually know how much of it you have. You may have 24 hours or you may have 24 years. And then that becomes, once you start to understand that, I think I've started to understand that recently. I've been quite philosophical about my own life and decisions over the last year or so, because if you chase career and money and success, you kind of realize it's a dead end. You never actually reach a goal. The goal just extends out further, but time moves pretty quickly when you're chasing something. When you stop chasing, time moves pretty slowly. It becomes a little bit more enjoyable. Like now I play tennis and read books and I've chilled out a bit more. But just for some context for you, Jack, I didn't know you, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just didn't know you, but I did keep hearing you had called me out, and you may not have seen that I've quite publicly said I got the entire COVID thing wrong. And just for some context, is that when I got into this Bitcoin thing, I was a proper little statist, believed in the government, thought they cared about us and they were the truth, and I would go to work and earn my money and come home and have a holiday and look after my kids and follow that little path. And I guess what I've done is I've been spent the last 8-9 years like learning about how the world really works and doing it publicly. So every one of those mistakes, I've done it to an audience of, you know, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, and then I've had to acknowledge those mistakes in public. But a lot of people have made the similar mistakes; they just haven't done it in public. But at no point do I ever make a decision and think, like I'm making a terrible decision. I'm going to do this in public. It's just that's the way I've had to do it. So yeah, I mean, I fucking regret the whole COVID. I think the COVID thing was like the final straw where I was like, yeah, fuck them. I hate them all. I hate the government. I hate everyone who works in the government. And shit, I wish I'd never taken that jab and said such stupid shit.
Well, the big thing that you need to know, because you don't have this context, you may not remember, but used to visit clubhouse rooms with Hoddle and British.
Oh, a long time ago, yeah.
I was in those. And we had a pretty good fight about this COVID thing, you and I.
Yeah, so probably did.
That's where it starts.
I don't remember that, but you might be right.
Right. Well, I know I'm right. And so do they, because they remember it. And I'm going to tell you that there's one thing you're going to learn about me. When you have a bully pulpit, which you and Nathan and BT Sessions does, I didn't in Bitcoin. My bully pulpit is in science. When I saw that, I said, I need to remedy that. Why? Because when people have the bully pulpit, it's not you, Peter. I may come off sounding like a total jackass here, but it's not
you're fine.
That I really care about. It's actually your fucking audience. Why?
Oh, no, but I'm the same.
Not smart enough to fucking figure out really what the game is. And if they think, hey, well, Peter did it, why the fuck can't I? I want to go travel too. I want to go to Lugano. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to El Salvador and talk to Bukele. But the ultimate thing is, and I think this is all the platforms. I'm talking about, Nathan will tell you the last time I was on with him, I fucking went nuclear with David Bailey. And now that turns out it looks like it was pretty smart too. But this is what I'm saying. We have to get back to the ethos of Bitcoin. The ethos of Bitcoin is what it is. We all know what it is, and we don't need to question it. The key is all the noise out there. We need to keep the people own it smart, healthy, and wealthy. They're linked. If people don't realize they're linked because of this, what I told you before, it's costly in time. And Peter, just so you understand this, because I do want you to hear it, the reason why you have a different experience with time when you're older and younger, you're going to be shocked when you hear this. Your mitochondria make water. When your baby was born and came out of your wife's vagina, that baby was 90% water. Right now, here I am in my technically 7th decade, but in my 60s, I'm only about 55% water. How we experience time is actually a combination of how water and melanin work together. Why? Because what I told you earlier in my rant, that Becker's work found out that 1 trillion to 1 ampere, if water or melanin are fucked, that's what determines how we experience time. So you remember when you were a kid, it seemed like Christmas took 10 years to come. Now, when you're an adult and you got to pay the bills, it seems like it comes every 2 or 3 months. But that's the reason why it happens. It's actually a physical reason why this occurs, because we become less efficient both in creating melanin and making water through our mitochondria to do this. And the reason why I guess your jab infuriated me is because this played right into the Rockefellers' plans, because what have they done? For 75 years, they've done everything they possibly could to destroy water and melanin biology through their policies and the use of their fiat money. I mean, I know most Bitcoiners hate the Rothschilds and Rockefellers because of the fiat side, but if you really knew the depravity of these people, just in COVID alone, I got on Danny Jones' podcast with Mary Talley Bowden. I estimated that the minimum death rate in the United States is about 600,000 people. Now, because that was 2 years ago, now I know it's over 3 million. But worldwide, we're over 20 million people dead from this policy. And when I said this to Breedlove, he did something pretty remarkable after he left me. He said the United States spent $6 trillion on COVID. And at the time he did the podcast, he said, that's about 2 million people. We spent $6 trillion to kill 2 million people. Think about the money, the mechanics there. And then when you think about why you got me so angry, because I know in Bitcoin, we may have 2-3 million people. That makes up the bulk of Nathan's audience, your audience, Danny's audience, Breedlove's audience. Those people, we need to fucking take care of them, dude. Like you can't imagine. And
I agree.
Even when they're a fucking idiot, if they're a fucking idiot, you still have a duty. Why? Because as I said to Nathan last time, you don't like everybody that you sit down at the Thanksgiving Day table with. That's fine. You still have to put up with your uncle that's a pain in the ass. But it's much easier to put up with somebody if you know that they're looking out for your back and they don't want you to get taken out. Because we're going to need, you may not be the person, Peter, that picks up the pitchfork and fucking shoots the gun at the Labor Party. But I got news to you. It may be your kids. It may be their friends. It may be those two little boys that I just did the podcast with in the UK. We don't know who it's going to be, but we need to be around so that when the shit hits the fan, and that shit hitting the fan is coming soon, we need people to be healthy enough to think, forget about the fight, to think, how do we take Palantir apart? How do we take CARP apart? How do we take the Zionists in the United States and Britain and Israel apart so that we can get our freedom back?
Yes, you watching the Bitcoin price movements and the latest exciting news. It's awesome to stay informed, but the real power of Bitcoin comes from taking control. Don't just watch, take action. Head over to btcsessions.ca/learn for free step-by-step tutorials that guide you through every major skill you need to know, plus full video playlists for deeper dives on any topic you like. And if you're ready for the ultimate fast track, scroll to the bottom and check out bitcoinmentor.io for premium one-on-one experience with my team of Bitcoin experts to ensure you get it right the first time. Don't wait. Secure your Bitcoin future today. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen.